Added to Aam Aadmi Party's trouble is an FIR which was registered against Arvind Kejriwal, the AAP Supremo, last evening by the Haryana police, and this over his poisonous Yamuna remark. Further, Aam Aadmi Party MLA Dinesh Mohania was also booked by the police on charges of molestation and sexual harassment. And that's not it. In the last 24 hours, viewers, 12 lakh rupees in cash has been seized. An alleged link to the Delhi Chief Minister's office is also being probed as we speak. Aam Aadmi Party candidate Saurabh Bhardwaj has also in the meanwhile alleged that police officials are blocking voters from casting votes in Chirag, Delhi. And we've seen an official response from the Delhi police as well that has cleared the air and says that an attempt is being made to ensure that the law and order situation doesn't go out of hand. Women voters in Seelampur also have claimed that their votes were already registered when they reached the polling booth. So those are some of the instances that we've heard of from some of the voters, political parties in fray. Going across to Pallavi Ghosh joining us with more details. Pallavi, first things first, 46.55% voter turnout till 3 p.m. What do you make of that figure? 2020, the voter turnout was 62.59%. Going by this speed, I think Delhiites have come out in large number to cast their vote.
Yes, absolutely. Certainly seems like it, and we're going to wait to see, because 5 o'clock is when technically voting closes, but obviously the people who are already there in the queue will be given the right to cast their vote. But the numbers are expected to go up much higher, so we're going to wait for those official figures to come out. But what we did notice really was that post-lunch, large number of Delhiites started to come. And if you look at the breakup which we've all received, the average certainly seems to be a little bit over 40% across the areas, and this is giving some hope to both the sides. The BJP is hoping it's an anger vote, and therefore the BJP is going to win comfortably with a large number of seats. For the Aam Aadmi Party, it's a hope against hope that this also means that the loyal voters, their vote bank hasn't got swayed at all, and they are the ones who decided to come out and cast their vote in favor of Aam Aadmi Party, just as it had happened in Maharashtra or in Bengal, where a higher voter percentage did not indicate any kind of an anger voting.
Okay, stay on with us, Pallavi, taking in a quick comment from Arunima as well. Arunima, rightly pointed out by Pallavi, normally the sentiment is that if it's a higher voter turnout, likely to depict an anti-incumbent sentiment, but we've seen in the recent past that's really not held true. So, what do you make of the voter turnout, and what's it been like in the national capital? It's been hours since voting began, and we've seen a lot of drama take place on part of, the political parties in fray already.
Yes, it began at 7 a.m. and it got off to a very sluggish start. Winter mornings, I think people prefer to be in their razais, in the comfort of their heaters, and it took them time. When the sun got out, people finally started coming out and voting. By afternoon, about 1 o'clock, both the Aam Aadmi Party and the Bharatiya Janata Party were kind of satisfied, because it was almost touching the 50% mark, and the highest that we have seen in the last decade or so is 2015, when it was about 67%, and last assembly elections it was about 62%. So already there are speculations that the 62% mark could be breached by the Delhi voters, especially in the Jhuggi Jhopdi clusters, in the minority areas. In fact, I'm coming to you live from Okhla, where the queues are still increasing. You see, this is the road that leads you to the booth there. People are still coming in there and casting their vote. 45 minutes or 50 minutes or so when they can stand in the queue and ensure that their votes are accepted. So they want to make the most of this. Ma'am, can I just have one word with you? What is that big issue for which Okhla is voting?
See, right now, the sole agenda for this election was development. The Aam Aadmi Party Sarkar and sitting MLA Amanatullah Khan Sahab has neglected Okhla Vidhan Sabha completely when it comes to local issues. If I talk about local issues, which are sewage system and the condition of the roads, the issue of getting a BSES meter, electricity meter or supply water, there are numerous issues that have not been resolved since past 10 years. And that is the reason that people, there's a change. They want a change. And there's this wave that is coming towards Congress right now. Because people want the Delhi that Sheila Dikshit ji had, made for them, or the green and clean Delhi that existed 10 years back.
Thank you so much. So that was the supporters in Okhla Vidhan Sabha area. Congress was really hoping that with these kind of voices in the minority dominant areas, they will be able to create a space for themselves, a space which belonged to them a decade ago when Sheila Dikshit was at the helm of affairs, but which was taken away from them. So one voice we heard which was pro-Congress. There are also AIMIM supporters who I see on the other side of the road. So AIMIM in minorities areas have emerged as an X factor. AAP, of course, the sitting MLA Amanatullah Khan, Aam Aadmi Party is hoping that ultimately, in spite of all the angst because of Northeast Delhi riots, because of sewage issues, because of civic amenities issues, all of that will be forgotten when it finally comes to pressing the EVM button. That's the Aam Aadmi Party's hope. But is that actually happening on the ground? As we are counting down to the last 50 minutes or so, the clock is ticking. 8th will give us the answer.
Oh yes, and the clock ticking for the voters to begin with, and then we get to the political parties in fray. Arunima, I'll come back to you in just a bit. Since we've all been piecing together the story this election, we've been decoding the deciding factors. So let's take our viewers through all of these factors one by one. The first big factor, viewers, is middle class. It constitutes about 67% of Delhi's household, known to lean towards the BJP. The rest we'll have to wait till the 8th. But speaking of the other big factor, which is the Jhuggi cluster, we've spoken about it at length. 17% Dalit vote, primarily based in the slums, and this has traditionally favored the Aam Aadmi Party. Will it see a split given the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party are contending separately or not? Will the wave still be in favor of Aam Aadmi Party? Another big question. Women voter again has played a crucial role in several state elections. 71.7 lakh women voters in the national capital, which makes up for 45% voters in Delhi. The Muslim population constitutes about 12.68%. This could be a game changer in at least 6 seats, especially with the Congress and the AAP, like I said, contesting independently. And the big factor of freebies, viewers, Aam Aadmi Party, Congress and BJP all promising SOPs to women, to youth. Now we're seeing this welfare promise go way past the Aam Aadmi Party. Will that take away the exclusive factor from the AAP? Will the BJP or the Congress to any extent favor from this remains to be seen as well. So those are some of the key factors, the deciding factors really this election. How much will the Aam Aadmi Party gain from this? Whether or not we will see a split in votes, and that's going to end up being advantage BJP is what we need to find out, and there's a little bit of weight to that. But Arunima and Pallavi continue to stay on with us. Pallavi, all through the run-up to Delhi elections, aggressive campaigning, a lot of bitter war of words, flying thick and fast between the three political parties. But somehow the last leg of campaigning has seen a lot of back and forth essentially between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. Where does this place the Congress, especially given the host of reactions that you've picked up from the grand old party?
You're very right. I mean, the Congress has got into this game, certainly, and the Congress has suddenly become aggressive, but it's come a tad too late, and therefore, it has really not been able to convince the voters of its earlier vote bank that the Congress means business, because many areas, when I spoke to, many said that, a vote for the Congress party actually means that it will be a waste of a vote, because we don't know whether they are serious about this game. And the second important thing which they were also suggesting is that the Congress is very much a part of a coalition alliance in which AAP is present there. What is the guarantee that if today the Congress is not with AAP and is criticizing them, tomorrow the Congress does not join hands with AAP? So those who do not want to vote for the Aam Aadmi Party also feel that there's no point in voting for the Congress, because they may end up in an alliance together just to keep for the BJP away. So voting for the Congress for many is not being seen as a vote for change. The problem for the Congress is a catch-22 situation. On one hand, it doesn't want to share the blame in case AAP loses or comes up with a poor performance, where I'm sure the India Bloc parties like TMC and the Samajwadi Party will blame the Congress. Also, the other big election is, of course, the Bihar elections, where again the Congress is in alliance with RJD, and in case AAP loses, RJD would be prevailed upon by, say, TMC and SP to say that why do you want to even have a positive seat sharing arrangement with Congress, because they're a liability. And more than that, I think the big story also would be, should AAP lose, is that what's going to happen to the India Bloc? Will it still be intact? One. And if it continues, who really is going to be the face. They will not want a Congress definitely, and in fact top TMC sources told me that after the electoral results are out, the first issue we want to be sorted is a new face of the India bloc, which of course the Congress party cannot be. They may have the maximum runs in terms of MPs, but they cannot be the captain of the game.
Oh yes, absolutely. And very interesting is also the fact, Arunima, that the Aam Aadmi Party has made it amply clear that they're fighting the election in the name of Arvind Kejriwal. He's had a few legal challenges his way, but it's the people's court that's eventually going to take the decision. That's been the AAP pitch. Can that favor the AAP, given that we've really not heard from the BJP name anybody as to who's going to be named the chief minister? So the lack of a credible face as against Arvind Kejriwal, what's been the sentiment on ground to that?
But what happens if a curveball is thrown at Arvind Kejriwal by the voters of New Delhi constituency? It's not that easy for Arvind Kejriwal. Sandeep Dixit's entry into the fray has made this a triangular contest in New Delhi. Parvesh Verma, Sandeep Dixit, both sons of former chief minister, is how Arvind Kejriwal placed it. That, I am fighting legacy and they put me in jail for fighting for you. He's tried to frame the New Delhi fight in that particular manner. But I can tell you there are a lot of people in Jhuggi Jhopri clusters within the Luton's Delhi, in pockets between Akbar Road and Janpath, in pockets between Copernicus Marg. There are people who serve as staff members to the Netas, who the old timers remember Sheila Dikshit as well. So while Sandeep Dixit may not go all out and claim that he's in a pole position, the fact is that Sandeep Dixit's entry has kind of cleared the pitch for Arvind Kejriwal, because it was the Sheila Dikshit support base which had gone en masse to the Aam Aadmi Party. Even if some of them make a comeback because of Sandeep Dixit's legacy, it could be difficult for Arvind Kejriwal. Having said that, I must tell you, Aam Aadmi Party is quite confident. They feel that their narrative of better education, better healthcare, better municipal schools, better Delhi government schools is still finding resonance on the ground, and they will be able to hold sway. As far as the legal challenge is concerned, Aam Aadmi Party says that the bail conditions are a mere technicality, and if Arvind Kejriwal gets the mandate of the people and he chooses to go back to the Chief Minister's chair, they always have the option of approaching the Supreme Court to change the bail condition. But lots of ifs and buts there, from political to legal challenges. Let's wait and see how the voters, and if the voters say yes, how the judiciary really treats all these hopes of Arvind Kejriwal.
Oh, I find the idea of a sympathy vote particularly interesting. But Arunima, Pallavi, thank you for that. Stay on with us. There are a host of other talking points coming in from the national capital. Delhi voters are going to be deciding the fate of the national capital. But very interesting political reactions continue to trickle in. In the latest, Congress's Pawan Khera has hit out at the Aam Aadmi Party, calling it a dangerous party and a threat to democracy. He even said that Congress did not want to ally with the Aam Aadmi Party and agreed to the alliance for the sake of other allies. He, however, also said that the I&DI bloc continues to remain intact despite all of these reports of an internal rift. Congress's New Delhi constituency candidate Sandeep Dixit also reached a polling booth to cast his vote with Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka, and then he expressed the concern at the low voter turnout and urged voters to vote for the Congress party. So those kind of reactions coming in from the Congress. Let's quickly listen in.
First of all, I've heard your statements of the Congress party. Suddenly the love seems to have been over between AAP and the Congress party. You're calling them an enemy of democracy?
Look, why do you call it love? That the other partners of India Alliance wanted us to take Aam Aadmi Party in the alliance, and therefore we agreed, because that's the kind of sense of democracy we have in our hearts. But in the longer run, people like Arvind Kejriwal, parties like Aam Aadmi Party, are dangerous for, not just for democracy, are dangerous for the politics of this country, because they have no ideology. They stand for nothing. They stand against nothing.
But isn't there a sense of flip-flop within the Congress's strategy also? You seem to be going soft on him in the beginning, and suddenly towards the end of the campaigning.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I don't know why you think we were soft on them. We were never soft on them. But of course we have to prepare our own ground in order to fight. We are fighting two parties after all in this city. So obviously we'll first prepare our ground and then start talking against them.
Okay. And finally, in case whatever be the results, do you think it's going to have an impact on the future of the India bloc? Because in case AAP loses, they are certainly going to be blaming, along with the Trinamool Congress, for example, that the Congress was the one who helped the BJP win.
Let them do that. Why did they contest Gujarat? Why did they contest Haryana? Did anyone question them? Tell me. So why they contested Punjab? They contest every state. And then suddenly, this is our state. We've been in power here for 15 years. Mrs.
India
Dixit
bloc
was
will
the
remain
Chief Minister
intact?
For 15 years, of course.
India bloc
Of course.
Across to Pallavi once again, a very interesting comment coming in from Mr. Khera through that conversation, Pallavi, and he's rejected, you know, the flip-flop question that you raised with him. But what's interesting is that he spoke of alliance compulsion in forging an alliance with the Aam Aadmi Party. The same allies have picked a side, which is not the Congress but the AAP.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw, for example, the Trinamool Congress and the Samajwadi Party really campaigned for the AAP, and because they feel that AAP is a winning horse. You know, the point is, this was the reason why, if you remember, around a month or so back, this entire argument and conversation began about there needs to be a face for the India bloc, which Mamata Banerjee should be the one. What was the argument given behind it? The argument was very simple, that the Congress doesn't have it in it to take on a direct fight with the BJP. They gave examples of Haryana and Maharashtra, where they said that where it was more or less a one-on-one fight with the BJP, the Congress failed to deliver. In contrast, Arvind Kejriwal, Akhilesh Yadav, to some extent in UP, and of course Mamata Banerjee, the DMK, all of them have proven that they can actually defeat the BJP. So if we want the India bloc to be a reality, a workable one, then it's very important only those who have a positive report card, who have delivered on the ground in the fight against the BJP, should be given the lead role. Obviously, the Congress will have an ego about this, Christine. I don't think they want to accept the situation. But should AAP lose, the blame game will begin. Congress, of course, will defend itself like the way Pawan Khera was. But then equally SP, TMC and all of them will say that you are a liability for us. You might as well leave the India bloc, because we think that we are alone capable of taking on the BJP. The moment you join the match,
one party is going to stand validated, Pallavi. The other two of them will be out to defend themselves. So who's going to be where? We'll have to wait a little while longer. Thank you so much for joining us with those details. Heading into a very short break. We'll be right back.
From you, Dr. Subramaniam Jaishankar is casting his vote. Pallavi is also joining us. Pallavi, whereabouts are you?
Well, I'm standing just right outside what can we call the hub of the Babus in the national capital at the Nirman Bhavan. And this is where you see a large number of bureaucrats, of course, working here. But this also falls into a very critical constituency and a high-profile one. What I'm really waiting for is the crowd over here is gathered, because any time now Rahul Gandhi is going to come and cast his vote before he heads off to Bihar. Well, I mean, we all talk about AAP. Anand, we are all going to talk about the BJP. The Congress, ironically, for having been a big player for 15 long years, today is very much a fringe player. But the BJP certainly wouldn't want them to be that, because the calculation is that the better the Congress party pulls in terms of voter percentage, the better are the chances of dividing the anti-BJP votes, which means the AAP stands to lose. And that is the reason why very often during the political campaign, Anand, you would have noticed a deliberate goading of the Congress party, to get them out of their homes and get those lazy Congress leaders out and campaign aggressively. So pinning their hopes is a lot on this constituency, the New Delhi constituency, which Akash was also talking about a short while back, because this is where the big players are. This is where the Sheila Dixit legacy plays out.
Would you agree that the Congress has upped the game in the last final 100 meters, like they say, the final 200 meters?
Oh,
the
yes,
last
totally.
1 week they've upped the intensity.
And
this entire gloves off between Rahul Gandhi and Arvind Kejriwal, was that a put on, or is that the sentiment within the Congress now?
Well, you're absolutely right, Anand, and a man who's responsible for this repeated flip-flop is going to come here and cast his vote anytime now. Initially, he was caught into his dilemma of coalition ka maryada versus the Congress's astitwa. I think the latter finally took place, because he was convinced by many of the Congress leaders like Ajay Makan that how long will you keep on paving the way in the name of coalition dharma, because you're getting wiped out state after state. And if you think that you're the only ones capable of taking up the BJP BJP that it is very important that the Congress does well or has a pan-India presence in states. Bengal, you look at the coalition Maryada, the moment the Congress raised its head, the Congress is completely wiped out in West Bengal. The same is in Delhi, 0 MLAs, 0 MPs. So I think belatedly they've joined into a race, but they've given some very interesting fights, and certainly in the New Delhi constituency.
Well, thanks for your inputs, Pallavi, and we'll circle back to you the moment Rahul Gandhi arrives. And does he have a mind of or an opinion with respect to the Delhi voter? What is his pitch before he heads to Bihar? That's another critical one where the last time around the Congress didn't pull its weight. Delhi critical too. Why critical? What are the key factors before we bring back Zaka in with some of the numbers that the voters need to consider? One of the aspects is the middle class. They constitute 67% of Delhi's households. The Jhuggi Jhopadi cluster or the JJ cluster, 17% of the Dalit vote and primarily based in the slums. 71.7 lakh out of the 1.5 crore voters are women voters, and will they, who make up for about 45 to 46% of the entire voter base, will they prove decisive? Will they vote one way, or is there a split opinion there too? About 12.7% are Muslims. They could be a game changer in at least 6 seats. Dr. Jaishankar is speaking.
सर क्या कहना चाहेंगे आज दिल्ली की जनता निकले यू हैव ऑलवेज बीन एन अर्ली वोटर
I've been an early voter, a Delhi voter, and I think the public is in a mood for change.
Sir, what are the issues that think are important for Delhi?
So Dr. Jaishankar not offering much, saying I've been a Delhi voter and I believe that the public are in a mood for change. Rahul Gandhi, fresh pictures coming through. Rahul Gandhi has arrived to cast his vote. Pallavi Ghosh with us. Yes, Pallavi.
Yeah, in fact, look at the pictures right in front of me, and this is a very interesting picture because you're seeing Rahul Gandhi being accompanied by Sandeep Dixit, who is, of course, a New Delhi constituency. I think these pictures say it all. I mean, you know, the Congress party, we were just talking about this, Anand, a short while back, getting into this fight belatedly, but I think this is one of the most interesting and aggressive fights. Sandeep Dixit has used up the legacy, and I'm just seeing those shots, I'm leaving you with these shots, Anand, where Sandeep Dixit has walked inside with Rahul Gandhi. They came in the same car together, and you know, after that flip-flop where Rahul Gandhi was in two minds whether, you know, you really need to put up a big fight against Arvind Kejriwal, I think finally he decided that this is it, this is what we really need to do, and bringing Sandeep Dixit along with him in the same car, going inside and casting their votes, I think it kind of answers your question that the Congress party has decided to up its ante, and the Congress and Rahul Gandhi have also decided that this really has to be the big fight and the gloves needs to be off. I mean, the Aam Aadmi Party can never ever be a friend of the Congress because the genesis and the growth of the AAP has been at the cost of the Congress.
So Rahul Gandhi goes in, he's cast his ballot, he's gone with Sandeep Dixit, Zaka. That's interesting.
Now, you know, we were expecting him to come with Sonia Gandhi because they are voting in the same booth. Priyanka Gandhi votes in a different booth. But interestingly, he's come with Sandeep Dixit. And Sandeep Dixit is putting up a fight in the New Delhi constituency. It is a triangular fight, no doubt about it, between Parvesh Verma of the BJP. That's where the former Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal is fighting from. He really shot to fame in 2013, the first election that he won, by trouncing Sheila Dikshit, who was the incumbent Chief Minister at that time. He was considered the giant killer. This time around, it is truly a triangular fight. Like I said, Sandeep Dixit may not win, but can he take away enough votes from Arvind Kejriwal, from the Aam Aadmi Party, that might make this contest much tighter? I think the last time around, Kejriwal won by about 25-30,000 votes. This time the margin might actually come down.
67% of the voters are the middle class. Now, what is the middle class thinking, especially after the developments over the last 4 or 5 days? What are the voter of Delhi thinking? Is Delhi coming out to vote in large numbers? We're just about 20 minutes now past 8 o'clock. We're going to take a very short break. When we come back, we'll get you more reporters and, of course, Zaka on the wall, magic wall with us. Stay with us on this continuous coverage as Delhi goes to the ballot here at CNN News 18. From you, Dr. Subramaniam Jaishankar is casting his vote. Pallavi is also joining us. Pallavi, whereabouts are you?
Well, I'm standing just right outside what can we call the hub of the Babus in the national capital at the Nirman Bhavan. And this is where you see a large number of bureaucrats, of course, working here. But this also falls into a very critical constituency and a high-profile one. What I'm really waiting for is the crowd over here is gathered, because any time now Rahul Gandhi is going to come and cast his vote before he heads off to Bihar. Well, I mean, we all talk about AAP, Anand. We are all going to talk about the BJP, the Congress, ironically, for having been a big player for 15 long years, today is very much a fringe player. But the BJP certainly wouldn't want them to be that, because the calculation is that the better the Congress party pulls in terms of voter percentage, the better are the chances of dividing the anti-BJP votes, which means the AAP stands to lose. And that is the reason why very often during the political campaign, Anand, you would have noticed a deliberate goad.
Welcome back. We return with a breaking news update. After a fiery reply in Lok Sabha, the Prime Minister will reply to the motion of thanks to the presidential address in Rajya Sabha at around 4 p.m. tomorrow. Payal Mehta joins us with more details. Payal, from Apda to Sheesh Mahal to photo opportunity at slums, the Prime Minister was unrelenting in his attack at the opposition in the Lok Sabha address. Give us an update on what's expected tomorrow. And it comes at an interesting time because Delhi would have already voted by the time the Prime Minister addresses Rajya Sabha.
It is certainly very interesting, the timing of the Prime Minister's address in the Rajya Sabha, but one must understand that Rajya Sabha is the house of the elders. So many more serious arguments would have been made by the leaders of the opposition. For example, people in the opposition have raked up the issue that the centre wants to occupy every space between. They're trying to, capture the universities in the state also. That's something also which multiple MPs have raised. That you can expect the Prime Minister to really reply, but he's going to go unrelenting as far as the Congress party is concerned, with the fact that one of the speakers in the Rajya Sabha has been Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge, who's considered himself to be a big Dalit face as well. So like the Prime Minister said in the Lok Sabha, that does anybody remember the last time that any opposition party or any party had given 3 tickets to SC and STs to become a member of parliament at the same time? And the Prime Minister said that I'm giving enough time to everybody to find out and get back to me with the details. But that has not certainly happened as well. So you can expect him to go out and speak about that. The Congress party has been trying to meddle with issues concerning external affairs, taking a jab and taking a pot shot at, Dr. Jaishankar also, who will, when the discussion takes place, because he's a member of the Rajya Sabha also. So you can expect an unrelenting attack coming in from the Prime Minister, given the fact that the Prime Minister has time and again, taken on the opposition on multiple issues concerning what has been said, and not to forget that the BJP leadership over here, Trichin has taken, has brought in a privilege motion against Sonia Gandhi, who is also a member of the upper house, and she is also expected to be present when the Prime Minister speaks tomorrow.
Oh yes, that's going to be interesting indeed. Thank you, Payal, for joining us with those details. 4 p.m. tomorrow is when the Prime Minister slated to speak in Rajya Sabha. Shifting focus now, opposition-ruled states viewers are up in arms against the UGC draft regulations that give chancellors greater power to pick vice chancellors in universities. The opposition, while speaking in one voice, says that the proposed guidelines would undermine federalism and higher education sector in states. Karnataka, in fact, organized a conclave of state higher education ministers in Bengaluru earlier today to discuss the draft UGC regulations. Ministers for higher education from 6 states, Karnataka, Himachal Pradesh, Jharkhand, Telangana, Tamil Nadu and Kerala, participated in the conclave to build consensus against the UGC guidelines. Ministers of Jammu and Kashmir were also in attendance. A joint resolution was passed in the conclave and will be sent to the UGC. It highlights some of the objections to the latest draft guidelines. The resolution, amongst the several other issues, demands a central role of states to appoint vice chancellors in state universities. Notably, the draft guidelines propose sweeping changes to the process of appointing vice chancellors, and all of that was taken note of at the conclave when some of these opposition rule representatives were in attendance. First up, we play out the top reactions that have come in so far.
I had moved an adjournment motion in Lok Sabha against the proposals of the UGC, which encroaches into the states' powers and the education system. The BJP, when they formed the government in the centre, from that day itself, they had been trying to communalize the education and capture. The RSS is trying to capture it through many kinds of ways. And now UGC has come out with a new plan to control the VCs and other institutions. And we are in Tamil Nadu and Telangana Chief Minister has wrote against that to the Education Minister and the Prime Minister. The Education Minister must answer to the queries which we wanted to ask.
Certain regulation has proposed, it's a draft regulation proposed by UGC. Everybody has right to put their views, and I am happy certain states are giving their opinion. UGC, I think I have inquired with UGC. UGC will look into all the things and come out with a final draft. But my dear friend John Brittas, he has cited some example. In states, I am not taking any state's name, but through you only, I would like to apprise this August House. Few states chosen Vice Chancellor to whom their personal aide's wife, their personal assistant, chairs are, all these things should go on. क्या यही राज्य पैसा देता है इसीलिए आप वाइस चांसलर की जगह पे अपनी निजी सहायक की पत्नी को बिठा दोगे?
The spirit of cooperative federalism should be respected. The first baseline is that. And second thing is, when they are bringing a draft on this UGC guidelines, our point is they should have, very meaningful deliberations between the states. Directions have been given to, councils, state education council to reply whether they would like to really embrace that what they have been told or not. So this is not the true spirit of the cooperative federalism.
All right, let's now talk about all that has been mentioned in the resolution which has been passed by some of these opposition rule states at the Bengaluru conclave. Resolution 1, this is an attempt, they're challenging the attempt to centralize the Vice Chancellor's appointment. The second big objective is to safeguard federal structure of India, also to build alliance with non-BJP states against the draft. The fourth big objective of this Bengaluru conclave was to examine the potential adverse effects of the draft regulations and discuss and propose alternatives to draft regulations as well. Further, they wanted a detailed discussion on the autonomy of state universities, a big contention that's come in from some of these opposition rule states already. I want to go across to Sudat Bhardwaj joining us with more details. So that we briefly highlighted, the manner in which some of these discussions took place, the resolution that's now been passed. What's the way forward, especially given the Education Minister's brief response in Rajya Sabha earlier?
Well, yes, they have met, 6 states have met today: Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Telangana, Himachal Pradesh. All of these states have come together. 6 states have now jointly passed a resolution against the latest UGC guidelines that have caused quite a bit of flutter. They have opposed various aspects of the UGC guidelines, one with regards to appointment of vice chancellors, one about how vice chancellors may not necessarily be academicians, but they can be experts. That has also been listed out. And another key resolution that has been taken, point of concern, is how the UGC guidelines seeks to, impose any unit. So this is, one of the point of contention that all the ministers, higher education ministers, have taken. So yes, they have raised concerns about how this is dictatorial in nature. So they have immediately sent all these guidelines to the UGC, and they plan to take this forward as well. In fact, Higher Education Minister of Karnataka, MC Sudhakar, has announced that the Kerala government has in fact decided to host a conclave on February 20th to build more consensus, have more meetings. But one thing is, they would like more states to possibly participate, because today Jammu and Kashmir was also one of the notable absentees. They were also supposed to participate, but that has not happened. So they would look for more states to rally behind them, because 6 is a rather small number. So yes, the next step forward is to include more states, and they are opposing the unilateral move. They are alleging this is a unilateral move by the centre and the UGC, and that this was not in tandem, not in cooperation with the cooperative federalism that is supposed to be there in the country. So yes, they are looking to move forward in this very regard.
Oh yes, so that, very interesting, because while the Education Minister in his Rajya Sabha response has welcomed any detailed discussion, also the manner in which the opposition continues to deliberate over the same. He has also said that this is in the draft stage, but the opposition continues to accuse the central government of an overreach and expect more such conclaves in the future, as you just pointed out. Thank you so much for joining us with those important updates. We now shift our attention to the next big story. Straight to Prayagraj in Uttar Pradesh, where the Prime Minister took the holy dip at Mahakumbh. Upon reaching the venue, the Prime Minister took a boat ride to Triveni Sangam with Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. This visit, viewers, underscores the spiritual importance of the day as it marks the observance of Magh-ashtami and Bhishma-ashtami, both deeply rooted in religious and historical beliefs. And after the holy dip, the Prime Minister also offered prayers at Sangam. He performed Ganga Aarti and then took to social media and said, and I quote, "Blessed to be at Mahakumbh in Prayagraj. The Snan at the Sangam is a moment of divine connection, and like the crores of others who have taken part in it, I was also filled with a spirit of devotion. May Ma Ganga bless all with peace, wisdom, good health and harmony," unquote. So that was the Prime Minister's brief comment after his spiritual sojourn.
Prime Minister Modi today took a holy dip in Triveni Sangam and also participated in Ganga Aarti. Prime Minister spent almost 35 to 40 minutes here in Prayagraj in Kumbh Mela Parisar. Earlier, there was a plan of Prime Minister's visit for almost 5 hours, which included the visit of Hanuman Temple, Akshay Vat and Saraswati Koop. But due to, of course, what happened on 29th January, the stampede happened. PM did not want to create any inconvenience to anybody because he knew that people are thronging in to Kumbh Mela in very large numbers. That is the reason why he came at the Aerial Ghat and then through jetty he reached Triveni Sangam, took that holy dip and immediately after he left. Let me quickly show you a glimpse of this place, that how this place is buzzing at this point on this special occasion when PM took this holy dip. This is the entry of the Mahakumbh Mela Parisar. कैसा लग रहा है यहाँ पर?
माहौल बहुत अच्छा है और जोगी जी और मोदी जी सदा इसे बना रहे हैं।
स्नान कर लिया?
हाँ, स्नान कर लिया सर। अच्छा। और यहाँ प्रयागराज में बहुत अच्छा व्यवस्था है।
बहुत व्यवस्था है। आप कहाँ से हैं?
जी, मैं नोएडा से हूँ।
नोएडा से?
जी सर।
कैसी व्यवस्था यहाँ लग रही है?
बहुत अच्छी व्यवस्था है, बहुत अच्छी तरीके से व्यवस्था है और बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है यहाँ पे स्नान करके और बहुत इच्छा थी हमारी कि स्नान करके आए और बहुत अच्छे से स्नान किया है, किसी प्रकार की कोई दिक्कत नहीं है।
तो यहाँ प्रधानमंत्री आज थे तो किसी तरह की परेशानी तो नहीं हुई आपको?
बहुत अच्छी व्यवस्था है, बहुत अच्छी व्यवस्था है। योगी मोदी जी ने बहुत अच्छी व्यवस्था कर रखी है और ऐसी होनी भी चाहिए।
And we were shifting our focus back to the national capital, the big election story that we continue to track very closely. In fact, in the latest, we are picking up the voter turnout figures till 5 p.m. and it stands at 57.7%. That's right, a voter turnout of 57.7% till 5 p.m. To give you a brief context, it's important to draw a comparison, viewers, to the 2020 assembly elections voter turnout, which stood at 62.59%, and this is only till 5 p.m. Figures that have come out till 5 p.m. stand at 57.7%, so expect the voter turnout in 2025 to cross the 2020 voter turnout, given that votes are still being cast, and good news most certainly as far as the voter turnout in the national capital is concerned. And if we look at an overall picture of the story from 2013, the voter turnout stood at 65.63%, 2015 it was 67.47%, and then a dip to 62.59% in 2020. As of 5 p.m. viewers, the voter turnout is 57.7%. Well, it's going to be a non-stop rolling coverage here on CNN News 18, 6 p.m. onwards. The poll of polls, the bigger picture on who could take over as the Delhi Chief Minister next. We're going to talk about a host of reactions and also analysis on what really would have worked in favor of which party. But for now, like I said, all eyes are on the voter turnout, and we've seen several visuals come in from 7 a.m. in the national capital, top leaders casting their vote, also making an appeal to the voter of the national capital to get out of their houses, cast their vote, exercise their right and make the right choice. Now do remember, it's a high stakes battle. The Aam Aadmi Party looking at returning to power for a third consecutive time. The BJP making inroads. It's been an aggressive campaign indeed, both on part of the AAP and the Bharatiya Janata Party. The BJP has been extremely optimistic and has exuded confidence at every phase of the campaigning. We've seen top guns of the Bharatiya Janata Party on the streets in the national capital, from Yogi Adityanath to the Prime Minister himself, spearheading the BJP campaign. His last rally, viewers, was in RK Puram in the national capital, and he was unrelenting in his attack against the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress. As far as the Congress is concerned, though we've seen campaigning on part of Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, Vadra, do remember, it's a do-or-die battle, and we keep reiterating that because Congress has been out of power in the national capital after 15 long years of Sheila Dikshit as the CM, 10 plus years of drawing a blank in the national capital. So most certainly a survival battle for the Congress as being called. I want to go across to Pallavi Ghosh, who's joining us with the latest. It's a positive news once again, Pallavi. You know, the voter turnout once again seeing a hike, 57.7% till 5 p.m. What do you make of that figure?
Absolutely, 57.7% is a huge number. It could touch upon to 60 to 65%. It almost seems to be kind of crossing what has been the figure in the last elections in 2020. And this gives a ray of hope to both the sides actually, but particularly the BJP. We've been discussing this all along. When there's a high voter percentage, it is usually seen as a vote for a change in mandate. And that is what the BJP has been talking about. There has been some aggressive campaign on the ground by the Election Commission, but every political party, particularly the BJP with the Prime Minister himself taking the lead, telling the people you need to go out and vote. There are two block of voters which the BJP is hoping have turned out in large numbers, and I think that breakup will only come in later. One is a large number of women voters who traditionally and of late have been backing the BJP in the various state elections, and second is a large number of first time voters, the young voters. The Prime Minister, the BJP has come out with several sops for them in the hope that BJP can offer, that's the narrative, BJP can offer to you people what the Aam Aadmi Party has not been able to do. On the other hand, the AAP has been using every possible emotional narrative, from the victim card to making the point that, we were never allowed to do our work, but relentlessly we try to do so. They are certainly hoping that it is their die-hard voters, Jhuggi Jhopri, women, middle class till now, will all come out and would have come out in large numbers to ensure that the AAP comes back to power.
Okay, all right. Stay on with us, Pallavi. We'll try and go across to our other colleagues as well who've been tracking every aspect of the crucial Delhi battle. But for now, what we want to talk about is what's at stake for the three parties concerned. We first up start with what's at stake for the Aam Aadmi Party. The victory validates Aam Aadmi Party's model, Arvind Kejriwal's leadership, because he clearly has been pitched as the CM face for the Aam Aadmi Party, despite the host of corruption charges that he's had to face the last few years. The Aam Aadmi Party has made it very clear that it is Arvind Kejriwal and he will be the next Chief Minister if the AAP returns to power. Arvind Kejriwal's Kattar Imandar image is on test. So, like Arvind Kejriwal himself said when he passed on the leadership to Atishi, that it is the people's court that's going to be decided, and this is that very test, viewers. Up next, what's at stake is also the manner in which the Sheesh Mahal episode, the term coined by the Bharatiya Janata Party, and the liquor scam could also dent the image, and whether or not we see that, whether or not that's cut ice with the voters of the national capital, and they felt that this perhaps is not going to work for the national capital going forward. That's another key factor that we've been tracking very closely and decides the fate of the AAP going forward. keep trust of key vote banks of women and working class. That's what's at stake for the Aam Aadmi Party as well. And poor results could also fuel dissent and defections. And we've seen some of that. It's also been cited by the Bharatiya Janata Party. The BJP says the Aam Aadmi Party MLA, some of whom have quit the party, left the party so close to the election, speaks volumes of the manner in which the Aam Aadmi Party is already sensing defeat. So these are some of the factors that we've tried to decode in the run-up to the big election battle in the national capital. Pallavi, Arunima, Aman continue to stay on with us. Arunima, if I could quickly come to you. You know, the Aam Aadmi Party has battled several legal challenges that's come its way, and till the very last leg or the last few days of campaigning, we've seen the BJP, use the Sheesh Mahal attack. We've seen the BJP also talk about the liquor scam, and they're saying that this is not going to be a bright future for the national capital if at all people decide to trust Arvind Kejriwal once again. How is that playing out on ground zero? What are the voters saying about these two issues?
See, on corruption issue, I did not find much resonance on the ground. Both on Sheesh Mahal as well as the liquor policy scam per se, there was not much that the voters had to say. It didn't look like they were perturbed. Yes, some voters did say that the penetration of the liquor shops increasing in residential colonies worries them. In areas where there are schools or where there are youngsters who move around, the senior citizens and the middle-aged people said that, penetration of so many liquor shops is something that they were not comfortable with. But they were not really talking about the corruption angle to it. However, their main concern seemed to be the quality of water, the quality of air that they were breathing in, the sewage that was moving around in their colonies, how roads were getting restricted because sewage would overflow if it rained. So the basic civic amenities, the basic bread and butter issues were their concerns. As far as mohalla clinics and education, two of Aam Aadmi Party's trump cards are concerned, I think the Delhi voter has become more aspirational. They were happy with the government schools improving, and one such government school is behind me. So they were happy that initially the improvement came, but then it hit a plateau and now they are asking for more. As far as mohalla clinics are concerned, yes, they were happy. The Jhuggi Jhopri clusters were happy that there was one doctor at call. But like I said, they are now asking more from the Aam Aadmi Party.
Okay, stay on with us, Arunima. Aman, it's also a big challenge for the BJP, isn't it? Because the dynamics in the Delhi elections are far different than any other election. The sense of victory that we've seen come BJP's way the last couple of state assembly elections, there's no Jat-Pat ki Rajniti, the election issues are very different. But where is the BJP confidence coming from? We've seen several leaders exude confidence in the run-up to the polls.
Well, Kitwin, the BJP's confidence is coming from what they sense is massive anti-incumbency against the Kejriwal government. In the voting percentages, you can see 57.7% voting looks to be breaking all records in Delhi. BJP is seeing this as an anti-incumbency vote, and its middle-class voter may be coming out in big numbers to vote for the BJP. Let's see what happens on Saturday, but so far the higher voting percentages is something which is also giving the BJP a lot of hope.
Okay. With that, head into a very short break. On the other side, as promised, non-stop rolling coverage. We'll put the numbers together. Big poll of polls coming up in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Brought to you by. From you, Dr. Subramaniam Jaishankar is casting his vote. Pallavi is also joining us. Pallavi, whereabouts are you?
Well, I'm standing just right outside what can we call the hub of the Babus in the national capital at the Nirman Bhavan. And this is where you see a large number of bureaucrats, of course, working here. But this also falls into a very critical constituency and a high-profile one. What I'm really waiting for is the crowd over here is gathered, because any time now, Rahul Gandhi is going to come and cast his vote before he heads off to Bihar. Well, I mean, we all talk about AAP. Anand, we are all going to talk about the BJP. The Congress, ironically, for having been a big player for 15 long years, today is very much a fringe player. But the BJP certainly wouldn't want them to be that, because the calculation is that the better the Congress party pulls in terms of voter percentage, the better are the chances of dividing the anti-BJP votes, which means the AAP stands to lose. And that is the reason why very often during the political campaign, Anand, you would have noticed a deliberate goading of the Congress party, to get them out of their homes and get those lazy Congress leaders out out and campaign aggressively. So pinning their hopes is a lot on this constituency, the New Delhi constituency, which Akash was also talking about a short while back, because this is where the big players are. This is where the Sheila Dikshit legacy plays out.
Would you agree that the Congress has upped the game in the last final 100 meters, like they say, the final 200 meters?
Oh,
the
yes,
last
totally.
1 week they've upped the intensity.
And
this entire gloves off between Rahul Gandhi and Arvind Kejriwal, was that a put on, or is that the sentiment within the Congress now?
Well, you're absolutely right, Anand, and a man who's responsible for this repeated flip-flop is going to come here and cast his vote anytime now. Initially, he was caught into his dilemma of coalition ka maryada versus the Congress's astitwa. I think the latter finally took place, because he was convinced by many of the Congress leaders like Ajay Makan that how long will you keep on paving the way in the name of coalition dharma, because you're getting wiped out state after state. And if you think that you're the only ones capable of taking up the BJP, that it is very important that the Congress does well or has a pan-India presence in states. Bengal, you look at the coalition Maryada, the moment the Congress raised its head, the Congress is completely wiped out in West Bengal. The same is in Delhi, 0 MLAs, 0 MPs. So I think belatedly they've joined into a race, but they've given some very interesting fights, and certainly in the New Delhi constituency.
Well, thanks for your inputs, Pallavi, and we'll circle back to you the moment Rahul Gandhi arrives. And does he have a mind of or an opinion with respect to the Delhi voter? What is his pitch before he heads to Bihar? That's another critical one, where the last time around the Congress didn't pull its weight. Delhi critical too. Why critical? What are the key factors before we bring back Zaka in with some of the numbers that the voters need to consider? One of the aspects is the middle class. They constitute 67% of Delhi's households. The Jhuggi Jhopadi cluster or the JJ cluster, 17% of the Dalit vote and primarily based in the slums. 71.7 lakh out of the 1.5 crore voters are women voters, and will they, who make up for about 45 to 46% of the entire voter base, will they prove decisive? Will they vote one way, or is there a split opinion there too? About 12.7% are Muslims. They could be a game changer in at least 6 seats. Dr. Jaishankar is speaking.
सर क्या कहना चाहेंगे आज दिल्ली की जनता निकले? You have always been an early voter.
I've been an early voter, a Delhi voter, and I think the public is in a mood for change.
Sir, what are the issues that you're voting for?
Sir, what are the issues that you think are important for Delhi?
So Dr. Jaishankar not offering much, saying I've been a Delhi voter and I believe that the public are in a mood for change. Rahul Gandhi, fresh pictures coming through. Rahul Gandhi has arrived to cast his vote. Pallavi Ghosh with us. Yes, Pallavi.
Yeah, in fact, look at the pictures right in front of me, and this is a very interesting picture, because you're seeing Rahul Gandhi being accompanied by Sandeep Dikshit, who is, of course, the New Delhi constituency. I think these pictures say it all. I mean, you know, the Congress party, we were just talking about this, Anand, a short while back, getting into this fight belatedly, but I think this is one of the most interesting and aggressive fights. Sandeep Dikshit has used up the legacy, and I'm just seeing those shots. I'm leaving you with these shots, Anand, where Sandeep Dikshit has walked inside with Rahul Gandhi. They came in the same car together, and you know, after that flip-flop where Rahul Gandhi was in two minds whether, you know, you really need to put up a big fight against Arvind Kejriwal, I think finally he decided that this is it, this is what we really need to do. And bringing Sandeep Dikshit along with him in the same car, going inside and casting their votes, I think it kind of answers your question that the Congress party has decided to up its ante, and the Congress and Rahul Gandhi have also decided that this really has to be the big fight, and the gloves needs to be off. I mean, the Aam Aadmi Party can never ever be a friend of the Congress, because the genesis and the growth of the AAP has been at the cost of the Congress.
So Rahul Gandhi goes in, he's cast his ballot, he's gone with Sandeep Dikshit, Zaka. That's interesting.
You know, we were expecting him to come with Sonia Gandhi because they are voting in the same booth. Priyanka Gandhi votes in a different booth. But interestingly, he's come with Sandeep Dikshit. And Sandeep Dikshit is putting up a fight in the New Delhi constituency. It is a triangular fight, no doubt about it, between Parvesh Verma of the BJP. That's where the former Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal is fighting from. He really shot to fame in 2013, the first election that he won, by trouncing Sheila Dikshit, who was the incumbent Chief Minister at that time. He was considered the giant killer. This time around, it is truly a triangular fight. Like I said, Sandeep Dikshit may not win, But can he take away enough votes from Arvind Kejriwal, from the Aam Aadmi Party, that might make this contest much tighter? I think the last time around, Kejriwal won by about 25-30,000 votes. This time the margin might actually come down.
67% of the voters are the middle class. Now, what is the middle class thinking, especially after the developments over the last 4 or 5 days? What are the voter of Delhi thinking? Is Delhi coming out to vote in large numbers? We're just about 20 minutes now past 8 o'clock. We're going to take a very short break. When we come back, we'll get you more reporters and, of course, Zaka on the wall, magic wall with us. Stay with us on this continuous coverage as Delhi goes to the ballot here at CNN. "70 constituencies, 1.5 crore voters and 11 hours. Delhi has cast its mandate in the first big election, the first big poll battle of the year 2025. The ballots are in, the votes are being counted, and the indications are that it could turn out to be a record turnout in Delhi. 57.7% by about 5 p.m. This high